Thank God it's Friday. Welcome to the show. I am Obia Julo Olabisi Ugbo, and with me are the beautiful ladies. Excellent morning, everyone.
Good morning.
How you doing, Nima?
This is Obia, teacher.
You're not serious.
Ladies of your view decided to serenade me yesterday, and I must say thank you. And I'm also blessed with this dress from D-Bod stores where we got the big pillows. I love my pillow. Chai. He wrote Alhamdulillah, Astaghfirullah, and one last prayer words. So those are words we repeat. So Astaghfirullah, forgive me, my Lord. Alhamdulillah, I'm grateful to God. All praise to Allah and all of that. And so when I opened it, I was shocked. And I'm hoping your pillows have something like that. So you can just send your pillows
I've
down.
never touched
Mine says awesome.
Oh, you opened it yesterday?
Yes.
Send it
You
down.
had eyes to see.
I'm so happy with it. Mrs. Yusuf Yinka, thank you so much. And I must say thank you to the Nupeng Secretary for Southwest. So yesterday I did not reach us.
Wow.
The picture is not good at all. We're just stuck in traffic. The tankers had taken over. They started early in the morning, but I was able to maneuver. But in the evening, I was just stuck there for an hour.
Wow.
On a 10 minutes drive home, I just sit down there.
Wow.
I thought of my life. I had time to reflect. And then I
What
tried to
traffic
make
can
calls,
do.
but yes, I'm grateful. I called him and I started seeing them navigating to clear for us. Thank you, sir, for always responding.
Thank you, sir, on behalf of me. How you doing, Toby?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank God it's Friday.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the weekend. And, well, I'm also excited that I get to share the table with Nima. It's my first time being here with
I've been
her.
looking forward to it since I was in.
Yeah, no, today.
Oh, sharing the table. We met her.
With her. Yeah, but I met her yesterday. So I'm really excited. I look forward to the weekend. I have
Any
2
plans?
events. Yes, I'm co-hosting an event tomorrow in the evening. It's Songs of Sons. It's a conference, a worship conference. So I'm co-hosting that, and I
You
look
sing
forward
too?
to. I'm actually in the choir.
We should do some medley.
Cannot work with this kind of words.
How you doing, Miriam?
Fine, thank you. Well, as you can tell from my voice, I'm definitely looking forward to the weekend.
Yeah,
Hopefully, I can get some sleep.
After all
I've
that,
got
you
this.
did yesterday.
I've got this thing I've been struggling with for a few days. Sore throat, catarrh, cough, and it's just getting worse. And I just think maybe I just need time to
Rest.
get proper sleep and I'll feel better.
And
Yeah.
drink that there's this mix you do.
My cousin,
lemon
my
and
cousin
stuff.
made me such a lovely girl. She's just like beauty and brains. I just love her. Anyway, Debbie, she made me ginger or whatever and
The
gave me
mix.
to drink. That was good. Yeah.
That's nice. That's the solution.
I'm doing well. I'm grateful to God for a successful surgery. My mother-in-law was in the hospital yesterday. We were a bit panicky, but it was successful. So after the show, I will go and see her and pet her.
Please.
She's my person. Yeah, I'm grateful to God for that. Then also, I'm starting my AWOOF sales today on the page. I'm selling clothes, I'm selling hair, I'm selling cosmetics, I'm selling everything. Discounted rates. Like I want to do clearance sales because I'm working towards moving to a physical location. So if I can clear out most of the things I have, I'm going to the location with brand new stuff.
items.
So that's
Please
what
visit
I'm
that
going
your
to be doing.
location.
Yeah, of course. When
There
I
has to
open
be an
it,
opening.
they have.
Okay, we've
If
not,
I
thought
have
you would
money, now
left
you
me
people should
behind.
not stress me.
Can never leave you behind.
Okay, now.
Of course, I've not opened yet. If I open, I would invite you guys. All right, let's take a short break. When we come back, we take the newspaper reviews. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we'll start with The Nation. Tribunal dismisses PDP's petition in Kaduna poll. Governor, my election upheld, Ashiru to appeal. Obaseki, I forgive Shaibu's aberrant behavior. Governor cautions deputy. Sit-tight leadership breed cool in Africa, says Don at Jonathan's lecture. Government to TUC, NLC, respect court order barring strike. How Southeast can overcome insecurity by governors, leader. Financial reforms ready for unveiling, says Cardoso. Independence, why Nigerians should collaborate with federal government, by Shetima. What stories do we have in The Nation?
We didn't take Minasaki and
I did, I mentioned it. I forgive Shaibu's aberrant behavior.
So my governor from Edo State has forgiven his deputy. He says he considers what he did an aberrant behavior that is not the way of the people of Edo State. And he counted the behavior that he has forgiven him for. He said, to name a few, the deputy governor needlessly filed an unfounded petition in the Nigerian courts, restraining me, the State House of Assembly, and security agencies from a non-existent impeachment process, followed by repeated breaches of protocol, unwarranted, unprovoked attacks in the media on my person.
Oh, sure.
And the state government. But the one that I did not agree with is that it contradicts the behavior of the people of Edo State. Anybody can fall apart and disagree. But since he has almightily forgiven his
we thank him.
We thank him.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Let there not be quarrel in the Edo State government house. And he did not now mention whether he can revert to his official office in the government house or he should remain in Osadebe Jare quarters. But we'll wait to see if that will be forgiven.
He will tell us,
as
hopefully.
well.
Yeah. What stories?
Yes, so we had the Good Luck Jonathan Foundation Democracy Dialogue series with the theme Breaking New Grounds in Democracy Development Nexus in Africa. This held in Yenagoa, Bayelsa State yesterday. There were many dignitaries there, governors, former governors, traditional heads, and we had the popular Kenyan scholar, Professor Patrick Lumumba, during his speech. I loved it and I highlighted it like, Nigerians, we need to hear this. He says, or the whole of Africa actually, he says, good governance is what Africa needs to develop and the time is now. He also said this sit-tight syndrome among African leaders is responsible for the frequent coups we have in the continent. Then he says that the time is now for Nigeria particularly to rise to the occasion, as 1 in every 5 black men in the world is a Nigerian, and Nigeria must not let us Africans down. He says it's time that we move away from waiting to get like a nod of approval from other heads of states from different continents and countries to feel like we are valued. We have to find like local ways of, directing ourselves and working on ourselves. So really it's a call to Africa and a call to Nigeria. Whether we like it or not, we are a huge number, a large number of black people in the world.
Giants
and
of Africa.
We must lead by example. And if Nigeria progresses democratically, politically, developmentally, in every way, it affects Africa as a whole and it brings back dignity to our homeland. So I thought it was amazing, his speech, and there were so many other speeches too by other leaders as well.
That's a strong one. No, people have always said that when Nigeria arises, other African countries will follow suit.
Yes.
They're just waiting to see what Nigeria will do. Toby, have a story.
Yes, how Southeast can overcome insecurity by governors and the leaders. So there was a summit held yesterday in Imo State. It was tagged the Southeast Economic and Security Summit. And it had in attendance most of the Southeastern governors and the Director General of the World Trade Organization, Okonjo-Iweala, was also there. Yes. And the Ohanes, the Indigo President General Council leader, was also there. So we had a lot of these stakeholders of the Southeastern states represented. And the former Senate President also was there. And one of the major conversations they said was that for the longest of time, they'd realized that the Southeastern states have been characterized by individualism and divisiveness, meaning that they're always doing their things individually.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, at this time, insecurity has to force them to come together to work as a team. Yes. And so all of them are agreeing on that, and they're looking forward to collaborating and doing things together. They say they don't need a 1-year plan or a 10-year plan. They actually need like a 100 years plan to have this issues sorted in the long term. So it's just a call for collaboration also among the Southeastern governors and leaders.
They also need a today plan, now plan. The insecurity is happening now. So we need to decide on how we want to collaborate. But that's a good one. So the new Central Bank of Nigeria governor, Olayemi Cardoso, said yesterday that a new monetary and financial sector blueprint will soon be unveiled. And that blueprint, it said, will serve as framework for implementation of major reforms by the Apex Bank. Then he went ahead to give insight into some guiding principles in the blueprint and assured them that the framework will be released in the coming days. So this happened in a chat with a group of investors in his office. And he went ahead to say that the CBN will do all in its powers to address identified distortions and ensure a conducive atmosphere for different categories of investors. That under his watch, the bank will do its best to tackle impediments to liquidity in the foreign exchange markets in Nigeria. So the English was so plenty. What we just want to know is, please, when can the naira and the dollar not be too far apart? When can the naira have some?
You know, he addressed that
chest.
issue of a strong naira as opposed to a stable naira. Tweeting at you on Monday, I think, on Wednesday, where he said that a stable naira is even much better than a strong naira. Let it be stable, and you see more investments coming. But this erratic nature
fluctuations
of you know, the naira going up and down everywhere like that is not good.
We need a stable naira. We also need a strong naira. 1,000 to a dollar does not work for us at all. So let's move on now to the Punch. Academic record. Atiku asks courts to overrule Tinubu's objection. Telcos plan different tariffs for calls, data in states. CBN will spend $3 billion loan to stabilize economy. Labor protests as federal government threatens union leaders with contempt charge. Threats won't deter us. We are no cowards, says TUC VP. Governors ask NLC to shelf strike. AGF says strike will be contempt of court. Umahi locks out workers. Protesters cite hardship for lateness. Ogun APC, PDP confident as tribunal rules Saturday. Osun accident, 5 Lautech students driver burnt to death. Federal government targets wealthy Nigerians in new tax drive. What stories do we have in the Punch?
Okay, so yesterday drama happened for Ministry of Works and Housing, where the present Minister for Works and Housing, former Governor Umahi, came into the Ministry of Works at 9:30 and said every worker that had not resumed was late and they locked door. So about 300 staff members, including some directors, were asked to stay outside. And so this was to now call their people inside. That people should see, you who are seeing what is happening, you see how the minister is treating us. Were there no ministers before him? And so they too, they decided that we will not greet. We will lock door. They now
lock him inside.
Lock a guy inside.
Ew.
Wow.
But the minister, he has diplomacy. I like that.
Okay.
He too, after a while of all their protests, the videos were online, shouting, "You must come out to address us." He addressed them. He called them.
Who opened for him? Because they locked him in now.
No, he can come and address them now.
Okay, but he cannot leave the premises.
They that they were locked out, now locked everybody in. Their co-workers already inside who had resumed much earlier even joined them. So they're asking for a better treatment and a better way to address them. And so he addressed them. He apologized. He called them collaborators that they are doing better. And so the matter have ended. But I'm wondering, he had...
No, calm down, you're wondering. That's likely to be our hot topic, so we can talk about it. Nima has finished the whole story. Sorry. What other stories do we have in the Punch?
Telcos. I have telcos plan different tariffs for calls and data in states. So what they're saying, Nigerians may soon be paying different prices in different states for calls, data, SMS, and other telecommunication services. This is what is being said by telecommunication firms. And they're saying this is to mitigate against multiple taxation and business environments across the states. So we had the chairman of the Association of Licensed Telecoms Operators of Nigeria, Mr. Benga Adebayo, who was explaining. He says that we have been talking about multiple taxation for many years, and it may not be appropriate to continue to have one national tariff, because if the cost of providing services in one region is high, and services in another region than in other regions, then it should reflect the cost. The price should reflect the cost of production. And then places where there are just so many tariffs, taxes that they are paying makes the cost of production high in that particular state. It would be unfair to have a different cost of production, the tariff to be the same as that where the cost of production is minimal or
lower.
quite low. So we will be seeing a lot of that going forward. I don't know why I feel...
The
Well, we would like to
differences.
see... They said that they will be meeting with the new Minister of Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy, that's Dr. Bosun Tijani, and we'll talk more about this. But I don't know, how do we feel about different tariffs in different locations, different states?
But I think that's the way it works all
fair.
over the world, yes.
How?
So that's when the more you're making now, you have to sort out the
They will
people who are
come and
making
focus
less.
on us here.
What they're saying
no,
is that if... So they're saying if government gives us taxes left, right, and center, it's subscribers that we push it on to.
Yes,
so if
now.
you are
Of
here,
course, now.
and you know
What
what does that mean? It's Lagos,
Yes,
Lagos
now. Lagos,
subscribers.
So if you want to stay in the city, you know that you hold your money.
No, we were born
Let's
here.
take a breather now. When we come back, we continue the newspaper reviews. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So I have the human interest story in the Punch. They said students of the Ladoke Akintola University of Ogbomoso were coming back from a picnic on Thursday, had an accident. Initially, the number was 3 of them died, but afterwards, 3 others who had been taken to the hospital also joined them. And the death toll now rose to 6. So according to the story, it said occupants of the bus were traveling along Osogbo Ifo, or your boundary road, late Wednesday evening, and they were burnt to death in the road crash. The other ones, about 6 of them, were reportedly rescued by operatives of the Oshu ambulance scheme. Those ones responded to the distress call on time, but later on, I think 3 from the rescued ones also died and joined them. So a resident spoke on the matter and said the driver of the bus that was conveying the victims had hit a commercial motorcyclist on his way, had an accident, and so the youths of the town, mob, came out and started chasing him. He was driving in a hurry when his vehicle somersaulted and burnt. They could not even recognize the students that were taken to the hospital. We've always said that this mob issue we have, it doesn't help us, it doesn't serve us, it doesn't work for us. People should calm down. If it's possible to take like a screenshot of his plate number and then go to the police will do their job. Now, in the bid to catch him for killing one person, he killed many other people and also lost his life. It's just a painful one. Do you have another story in the Punch?
The federal government targets wealthy Nigerians in new tax drive. And so this article went on to say that in Africa's most populous nation, that's Nigeria, where a tiny majority enjoy vast wealth, while 2/3 of its 200 million people live in extreme poverty, the numbers suggest widespread tax evasion. And so as a result of this, the federal government is saying that they're now going to shift their attention on the rich, and they're going to burden the wealthy citizens with payment of tax as against the poor people around. And so this is just
Like the story.
the story you took.
linked.
Yes, saying that, I mean, because even the poorest of the poor are the ones complaining that local government will come, this one will come, collect money, and so the federal government is now
They'll
saying...
go back and give them waivers on other things.
No,
Yes.
so there are different classes of rich people. We that see ourselves as rich, you are actually the middle class
Who are the
people.
people that see themselves?
Please, everybody at this table is rich. We know our level.
Yes, we're rich.
But they are the wealthy ones. Those wealthy
the
ones
wealthy
should not be
ones.
having tax waivers. That's where the problem is. We that we are working, we are paying tax. They take it from our salary. We buy groceries in the supermarket. We pay tax, But those rich, the Dangotes and the rest, are the ones that they waive their tax. The money that
But
they
the reason-
refuse to,
But there's a reason why they do that. So they don't do that just because they are rich. They do that because they are providing employment
Yes,
and
and
so
do
many
other-
other things.
provide
So
other
those are the
services.
Are we not
balances that
providing
we are...
employment? How many staff do you
What
have working
percentage
under
of
you?
employment?
Please,
These are
at
out
our
of-
level.
But there's also
topic.
a tax amnesty,
Okay.
which will be introduced to provide a relief on old debts and prepare the minds of the people to meet for future obligations. So this means that there's going to be an amnesty, so people will come forward also to declare and not just say the rich, start paying.
Exactly.
So because if they do that, they will now start backdating. But people want to know that
There's a
they are
danger
safe.
of overtaxing very rich people. They'll take their businesses to countries where they are
Where
not
their taxes
overtaxed.
are
They will pay taxes in
But
those
even
countries.
they have been
So
taking
we
it
need
for
to-
naira.
they will pay.
and
Let's
dollar.
move on to the Vanguard. Why you can't go on strike, federal government tells NLC and TUC. To err is human, to forgive divine, says Obaseki as he accepts Shaibu's apology. We've taken that story. Oshodia Papa, Lagos truckers, stakeholders meet as gridlock worsens. Federal government declares Monday, October 2, public holiday. Independence lecture, your sacrifices won't be in vain, Shetima tells Nigerians. Economic Security Summit, Southeast governors' leaders resolve to end insecurity. Mobad, I had no hand in singer's death, Naira Marley. Live well, be happy, death calls on us daily. Reflections on human flourishing in 3 Nigeria by Professor Laguda. INEC laments as 241,715 Bayelsa, Kogi, Imo voters shun PVCs. Burkina Faso detains 4 officers after failed coup. International friendlies, Passero drops Sanusi, Bassi from Eagles squad. We don't like sports here. I don't know if anybody took that story. So what do we have in the Vanguard?
I have the issue, dear Papa. So, of course, I've been talking about the traffic on that axis and on the Badagry Expressway due to tankers in Nijegun as well. And Lagos State yesterday called a meeting, amongst them the state government, representative of the transport union, truckers, and port operators yesterday. In fact, they had everybody seated. The commissioner for transport in Lagos State, Oluwaseun Osiyemi, the special advisor to the governor on transport, Sholagiwa, and the permanent secretary of the Ministry of Transport, Abdulaziz Toriola, they all sat with them, the NURTW representatives, the RTE, and that's the Road Transport Employers Association of Nigeria, LASMA, NATO, major oil marketers, the depot owners, everybody, and they sat and gave an 8-man implementation committee. So at the end of the meeting, which lasted over 2 hours, an 8-man implementation committee was created to ensure strict enforcement and monitoring of the new order and agreements reached at that meeting. Also, the Vanguard took report on how worse now the traffic has been. As at this morning, Second Rainbow all the way to Wapapa has been blocked by tankers. In the midst of it, you see terminal operators and their container trying to navigate, some as long as as ever, trying to navigate. On the Apapa axis, most of the residents have resorted to using other routes to come in. For those of us living on the service lane side of the Badagry Expressway, who are not at the luxury of living at Yanoba beyond Lasu to use the exit into the middle lane, we are just sitting with them. Helplessly at the mercy of whether they try to move. As at this morning, I just gave one 10 minutes. He kept reversing before he decided I could not park and went. The service lane are not parks. The committee, yesterday's meeting, they compelled them to use the different holding bays that they have. They have the Bola Ahmed Tinubu trailer park at Orile Gomo. They have other various holding bays that they use along that road. And they have compelled truckers to also use the Burlington, Davin Parks, among privately owned holding bays around Apapa, to relieve the roads of the load that they have. Imagine you leaving for work and just sitting there. Is that what you tell your guy every day? I'm in traffic. For a traffic, so the state is a serious business, and every resident of the state must also feel government. So they should ensure that they don't block the roads. Okay, so the federal government declared Monday, October 2nd, 2023, public holiday in commemoration of Nigeria's 63rd independence anniversary. So the permanent secretary in Ministry of Interior, Dr. Oluwatoyin Akinlade, was the one who said this in a statement yesterday. And the Minister of Interior, Dr. Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, made the declaration in Abuja on behalf of the federal government. So they went ahead to talk about how we can collaborate. They are very long speeches. At the end of the day, we are not going anywhere on Monday, 2nd of October. But that does not affect us. We work all the time.
Yes, I also have this story. It's Naira Marley. We know the former boss for the late Mobad, Ile-Rioluwa Oladimeji. So there's a viral interview where he had with Reno Mokri, the social media commenter and former presidential aide, where he stated his innocence. He says that, and also he went on his social media, that's the Naira Marley himself, they said, absolve himself of any wrongdoing, and also that that interview, many people were able to hear him give his own side of the story. But basically, in summary, he said that Mohbad had always struggled with some mental condition. That there was a video that was played, I think, in the background of their interview where he and Mohbad were in conversation, and Mohbad had talked about killing himself, and he said, and then when Mohbad had accused them of trying to kill him, he says, why you accuse, you have just accused us of trying to kill you, and then you're here saying that you want to kill yourself. So there have been issues. He says he's paid for many scans for him, trying to help him with this particular issue that they know that he's always had. He also said that he's willing to come back to Nigeria to stand for himself, but he's afraid for his safety. If the government can assure him that he'll be safe when he comes back, he'll be here in no time. He says that, as we know, a lot of Nigerians are angry with him because of what they believe he may have done or may not have done. So he also has his own story. And then we'll see.
I hope it's not a case of
did he come with
I'm hoping
receipts?
that if he truly had some existing mental health issues,
they should
and
be
he knew,
receipts,
did he assist him to live an easier life, or wasn't it through their relationship?
I guess we'll see. The hospital visits will show, the doctors will show.
Yes.
Conversations
Yes,
on
I'm
the...
hoping he has receipts.
Yes, receipts are very important. In this
Receipt is different. Can drop a receipt. But the hospital, which hospital? Can go to the hospital. The doctor visit, can we check?
They always have a file.
All those things.
Go ahead, Toby.
I have the Shetima tells Nigerians that your sacrifice won't be in vain. And so there was a public lecture yesterday that held at the presidential villa, and it was tagged the 63rd Independence Day anniversary public lecture. And so in his speech, he went on to say that the promises made by the Tinubu administration would be fulfilled. And he went on also to say that the active collaboration of the citizens with the Bola Tinubu administration would be of great benefit to everyone, stating that the vision of renewed hope that this administration has put forward is something that is understandably is something that cannot be achieved in the immediate, and he understands that Nigerians have sacrificed a lot, but we should keep the faith alive, basically. And this lecture held in Abuja, yes, and there were many things he said, but that's majorly the highlight of the conversation.
Yeah. Do we have, our stories are good. I don't think we have the time to take the Tribune. That's all we can take on the newspaper reviews. When we come back, we move on to our hot topic. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So a viral video was all over social media yesterday about workers protesting after the Minister of Works, David Umahi, locked them out for resuming late to work. The minister was said to have prevented workers who came to work late from gaining access into the ministry. He has since apologized, but would like to hear your thoughts on this. So join the conversation and call us on 081 076 41679 and 09024163440, or tweet to us at TVC Connect using the hashtag YourViewTVC. So we know that Nima had already established the story from the newspapers this morning, and when I saw the video, the viral video yesterday, I was a bit upset, and let me tell you why I was upset. I was upset because they were protesting. That's my personal opinion now, for their bad behavior. They came late to work and were locked outside. And now they decided to lock the minister inside and started protesting. So I was asking myself, what is the moral of this story? Even if things have been going wrong in the ministry and they needed to get their attention, do you protest for something you have done wrong and you were, somehow punished for doing it? Or you find a better time to get the minister's attention? But let me come to the ladies. What are your thoughts on it?
Should I start?
Please start.
You know you want to.
So we saw drama yesterday, and for me, the minister had earlier in past weeks mentioned that he was being threatened by staff of the ministry, by civil servants, And he also mentioned that some contractors were also threatening him. At the time when he talked, we were saying what happened. But to see the wish now cry in the daytime, picking down in the morning, the way they did it, because the way they came out and locked him in, I consider it an affront. I also consider him locking them out as an affront, because this ministry is not your state. You know the way state governors used to do like principal. Some will say, stand up to traditional rulers, tell them to sit down. You know, Wike did that when he was in Rivers State, and now we had Obasanjo do the same. Talk to people down, talk down at people as if we're at a village meeting where the village headmaster is controlling people. Such are not the ways to deal with issues in service. In service, there are protocols, there are ways to go. So if you have a time for resumption, you have a clock-in system, clock-out system, you can check who's coming late. If lateness is a ground of misconduct that you want to address at one person, you address it. You don't just come into school like a principal, lock the gate. All of you that are late, go back home. We're talking of adult relations here. There's civil ways of going about things. So both sides, for me, were wrong. Then the civil servants who feel that we are beyond any reprimand, we can resume when we like in our office, our private businesses. You know, we're coming in the morning, I've taken child to school. There's a resumption time. I remember that I stayed with my aunt when Fashola became governor in Lagos State. I remember then I attended the first Juma service that he had at the Alausa Central Mosque. And suddenly my auntie became too busy. I could hardly stay back in school. I was rounding up with my law degree then, and she would keep calling me, Joe, help me, my kids and everything, because she had to resume much earlier than she would. She used to be an 8 to 9 person. She started going to work earlier than 7. We have this meeting, finance something. She took a master's that was relevant to the present position she was holding. She will go, she will come back. Sometimes she'll be in the office till 11. Her husband, also a civil servant with the same government, would be like, this department is soaking, is drenching my wife. She would walk. She would come back, she'll be like, this Mr. Timetable, you know, because he kept to time. He himself, she said the risk was the governor coming before you to work. You don't know which department he will show up at. So everybody sat up. He showed the example he wanted. You know, and there was protocol. There was no locking anybody that made the news. There's a way, there's a civil servant rules that they must comply with. What time is resumption time that is practical? You do it by ensuring that whoever is a late comer, habitual one, you give them their memo, the query, or whatever you do. At the end of the day, if they need to be relieved of their services. You're saying
you handle it individually? It's not generalized?
Not even just, you don't generalize, you don't lock service. You keep a time, something that checks whether they're coming. And if that's a ground you want to discipline anybody for, you either query or memo them, or, you know, at the end of the day, worst case, relieve them of their duties.
The way you now put it is now confusing me.
Okay. So I understand. I get that code. So first of all, my initial thoughts were, how dare they? The audacity. You're late, they lock you up, then you lock up the minister. We are in big trouble. That people will gather together to raise their voice over their bad behavior. Like the shame did not even allow you to quietly find your level. You thought that you're going to make yourself a nuisance. Let the world see us. Yes, we have locked you up. That is how I saw it at first. Now that Madam Lawyer is saying there's code of conduct, I now hear her and I agree. There has to be a way that we address, you know, there has to be protocol. Because we have seen when the overzealousness, even if, especially on the wrong side, and we have called it out. So even though in this case it was for their own bad behavior, I think that there really has to be a code of conduct that we follow. But there's something I learned when I was growing up. Like if, let's say, it used to happen to me quite a bit. Let's say someone older than me did something wrong to me, right? And by the time I go to report to my mom, I had already taken a step. Do you understand? I had to maybe talk back at that adult. So my mom would say, no matter what the adult did to you before then, is, you know, you have nullified this case. Yes.
Nullified it.
Good. So in this case, I feel the code of conduct that he did not follow, that is valid, but it makes no sense now because we had a group of civil servants who had the audacity to lock up a minister in the office for daring to demand of them to do what was right. So they have nothing to talk about.
No case now.
They have no case. Nigerians are not going to watch this group of people and think, okay, yes.
That's the way to go.
No. It was wrong. It's so wrong. See, we are always putting out our young ones. Oh, they are misbehaving. Where are they learning it from? They're learning it from us, the adults. Now, wow.
Calm down. We need.
I mean that in our lifetime, we'll see open and blatant disrespect for the service, for office, for a minute. No, it was just so wrong.
So before I come to you, Toby, I wanted to respond to Nima a bit. So, you know, you were mentioning code of conduct, but as a minister, you can come in and decide to change things. I think you should have the prerogative to say, okay, this is how we're going to be doing this going forward, because you hold that position. And I know that we make the civil servants in Nigeria seem like they are gods. We revere them because we don't want wahala, especially if you are planning to be doing contracts tomorrow, they can stop you or do whatever. But he has a right to say, okay, this is the pattern in which I want to go. It's possible they have a code of conduct and they are not obeying. These kind of people, do you think they will respond to query if they give them query? For them to boldly lock up the minister, they will not respond to query.
They will. You see, query is a different matter. What he did, he empowered them for this charade that we just saw. He put them in groups. So, in fact, they switched off all the lights. Now, NLC, you see, they did a labor against government protest yesterday. Not only did they, first of all, lock the gate, to compel their colleagues inside to support them, they lock off lights. Compel those ones to come and join them when heat covered them. They came out to come and take breeze and join them. And then forced the governor to, the minister to apologize. The one that now broke me is the minister was forced to apologize.
Oh, so as a minister, can I not say that he was held hostage?
Okay, hold on. Let's hear.
You see, when you do it in a group like that, you can't tidy things up.
Let's hear Toby's initial thoughts. Go ahead.
Okay, so seeing this story, I realized that it is something that has eaten deep into our system. So, for instance, if you take your child to school and maybe you're late, and the school is saying, oh, our rule says by 8:30, any child that doesn't come goes back home. And you see a mother or a father say, what do you mean? Am I not paying school fees? Let that child in. And, you know, we take it up like that. And we see this again play out in another space. And so we're saying, are these not parents too? Because I'm looking that these are people that...
elderly men and women.
Yes, that we are supposed to look at
the school principal. Then they'll go to and shout at the minister.
They'll go again to their office to do the same thing. And so these are things that we see on a daily basis, but we're just saying that because it is ministry and people working, we're now trying to feel like we're not really being involved, right? And then I want to say also that the effect of that backlog, we're not thinking of it on the economy. So a full ministry didn't work for a whole day. What is the effect of that? We're probably thinking that what would they have lost? It may just be a situation of we no go office, all of us protest, and that was it. But when we look at it, some monies have been lost. Manpower, hours have been lost in the... Yes, there are more things that we need to worry about.
So you see, I'm shaking my head, right? Nothing was lost because they wouldn't have come to work early anyway, and they would have closed much earlier than they are meant to close anyway. Whatever, it is the same hours that have been lost all this time that was lost on that day. Nothing new.
But let's pause this conversation. Let's take a short break. When we come back, we open our phone lines for calls and messages, and we continue the conversation. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're still discussing the minister, David Umahi, who was locked inside for locking his workers outside the Mata Tarapa. But we have a caller, Yakub. Good morning, Yakub.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning to everybody.
Good morning.
Obviously, this is a tip of highbrow because this is to tell us that a lot of wrong is going on in our ministry. Not only Ministry of Work. This is an example of what is really going on in so many ministries, especially the government parastatals. Okay, the question is this. This is the same labor people, because these guys is among of labor people that want to strike next week now.
Yes.
Now, they give their employment, You did not show up in your working place at the time you need to show up. And then your master comes before you and then locks you outside. And then the next thing you do is to switch off the light and lock the box. Who does that? I think a lot of people in the labor market today, you see, a lot of students and graduates every day, they are looking for jobs. They are looking for this job that these people have opportunity to get, and then they are not taking it serious. I can tell you, if today the federal government just sack those guys, a lot of people will secure jobs in that particular ministry. How do you not minister? That's wrong.
Alhaji Yakub, do you think that the minister himself addressed the lateness with due process, or is it okay to just lock people out of work?
Hello, Sister Nima. I listened to you when you were saying that there's a protocol that does this, that does that. Yes, there's a protocol, but the question now is this, Sister Nima. Before this guy secured the job, what is was exact time they're supposed to resume to the job? What is exact time? So are they not giving time frame that this is total time that you resume? And then you get to job around 9, and if I don't mistake, or after 9. Sister Nima, look at that video. Look at all what you are always passing through every day in traffic. You still make sure that you get to your fuel at the time that you need it. Who does that? That's rubbish. God bless you.
Thank you, Yakub. Thank you. It's really vibrating. Toby needed to finish her thoughts. Wow. Go ahead, Toby.
For me, I think that once the gate was locked, I felt it was the appropriate thing to do. After waiting for a while, just go home. You now waited. People were recording you. You didn't even think that your face would have been all around. You now staged the protest. And for our systems today, when we go to federal government or government parastatals, we literally have to plan our entire day, even though what we need to do is just maybe 5 minutes. But you know, the way when we get there, we just say, wait, the person has not come. And you're just tied down. You can't take permission, you know, to do something with the government. And I think that this is just a wake-up call, really, not just for this particular ministry, just all around also, to say that how are we able to balance the work systems, the timings, such that people really meet you on your seat at the time they are meant to meet you on your seat. But that doesn't, I do not agree with the fact that he locked. Like Nima said, there are other processes, there are ways by which, I mean, you can pass this message across. But again, we can never say, maybe he had talked, written a memo, pasted announcement, done all of that, and then he said, today, I will deal with you. The Nigerian in me will come out.
They are saying that there are underground issues. The workers are saying, the civil servants are saying there are other issues, that he had stopped engineers and directors from doing their work, and he has been breaking public service rules since his appointment by bringing in consultants to run the affairs of the ministry. So this is like the one that now broke Kame back home. You understand? It's the final one that beat Kame. So they don't want. They finally had to. It was a show of strength between themselves and the minister that at this point, we say will be human being. If you say, my grandmother used to say, if you say I eat too much, what about the work I do for you? If you say I eat too much in your house, what about the work I do? So value for value, give, you know, their workers, their human beings, and treat them with dignity. That's why I said, he too, he cannot just go. This is not your village headmaster meeting now, that you just come and lock door. It's not your home. It's a ministry. It is a government office. You come in, call Bosun Tijani to help you do biometrics. Put clock in, clock out inside. Everybody fingerprints done already there. In a few pata, the government used to say 18 months. Everything they want to do, they would have finished it up in 18 months. Anybody that press finger after 9, he knows
what will happen. Can these people take the consequences?
So but you can do things much more.
Owolabi, before I come to Miriam. Good morning, Owolabi. Good morning, sir.
Yes, my view on this is Mr. Nima, there are some that are all government workers whereby they go in as early as 9, complete and go back and still return, because I experienced this thing last week, whereby my elder sister, now the woman was just running down there that, okay, I have to complete. He didn't complete, he went back. And still coming back around 5. I was just want to tell woman that, what is the next thing? He's like, take care. And there are some people there, protesting yesterday, they had not ready to come to work It's their colleague that will call them, protest is happening, just come, just come. Because we believe that, okay, this one is federal government work, it's not a do or die. But if it's a corporate organization, you can't do that. They have a disciplinary committee that will take into the matter and look it up. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. So I just also wanted to say that, you know, we have lamented the behavior of the civil servants. As far as I'm concerned, they were wrong. I also acknowledge that there has to be a due process and a code of conduct. So for even how the minister would address issues like that. And I think we should try and encourage that to happen. But I think we need to talk about the way the minister also handled himself after. Imagine if he had called the IG of police and said, I've been held hostage, and then they'd release police officers to come and round them up.
We will complain.
Do you understand? But in his own way, he decided to be humble about it. Because he too, like, after all, I'm the minister, you know. But he decided, you see, I will apologize to them, and then we can move forward. He decided to be the bigger person.
Yes.
And for me, I'm happy that this happened because we need to highlight the importance of the bigger person. A lot of Nigerians like to say, I'm not the fool here. Who do you want to bamboozle, you know? And that's why a lot of our issues just degenerate, you know? But if one person is able to say, you know what, I can see all the offenses that they have done against me, I will put that aside. And for the bigger good, for the greater good, I will humble myself, whatever it is, and then we can move forward. And I'm happy that he did that. And then they can sit down and do it properly, because these aggrieved civil servants could have gone to their HR and they would have handled this. He has, and if the HR had to sort of call the minister to order, they would have, if they had sat with HR to say, he locked us out, this is not protocol, this is not how you should have done it, but they didn't do that. But so now I hope that they will do the right thing. And the people that were protesting, are they willing now, when they follow the proper process, to
change their ways?
No, not change their ways. To accept their punishment.
Okay, that's one.
Change their ways is okay. If you like, don't change it. But
You
there's
will go.
going to be consequences for your actions. I hope that you are bold and strong enough and confident enough in that behavior to accept, to face your punishment. And really, going forward, across board, we have to have a code of conduct that we follow.
That will guide everybody.
That will guide everyone.
Yeah, let's take this call from Sandra. Sandra from Abuja. Good morning, Sandra.
Morning. I just want to contribute my own part towards the saying in the studio.
Let it count.
All of us know that we know the time to resume. Every Nigerian knows where civil servants will. And when we are saying that the man is not something wrong, that's how we are where we are now. Because we don't always take correction. There's nothing the man can do than what he has done. To just say like a warning for them. You know that the something you are talking about is not about president or whoever is the solution. It's about the civil servant. So if you do not do this thing, so I work in the bank. Can you work in the bank? A bank worker will walk to the front door by 8 o'clock. You get a query because you know when they are supposed to resume. They know when they are supposed to resume. That's why I have nothing worse. You are complaining about government. Who are the government? The civil servants are the worst government. From the security to whoever answers to whatever they have. The corruption comes from them to the minister that just came in, and they continue. Something is working in the ministry. You want to go to ministry to go by say you will wait till 12 1. A high person have not come. The junior ones are not even in the office for 25. When you call them, you don't even say sorry. They be arrogant. You will know, except to say don't go to ministry. And it's all over Nigeria. And if they try to make a correction, why are we condemning him? Who are they? Are they not working for us? Are we not?
So I want to quickly say that I might just have been too emphatic on, you know, on both sides and their faults, but I don't endorse the civil servants. Let's talk about how Nigerians are. So when I was schooling in primary school, there was consequence to lateness. There was consequence to lateness in secondary school, and I did not try to do lateness in the university, even though there was liberty. And today, where I work, nobody is going to kill me, but it is already
engraved
mindset.
In your subconscious.
I'm not worried for my kids. When you're taking kids to school now, the school bus is late. The children don't even know what time it is.
The school bus is late.
We used to trek to school, so I could not dare be late. But now, children will sit in the bus, school bus will just break down in the middle of the road to school, back home, there's no keeping to time. I saw a bus yesterday at Amu Odofi doing a one-way with people's children into the estate gate. What did you teach the child? Just find your way, find your way. Anyhow. And they grow like that into the ministry. And you know in ministry work, is you know somebody to help somebody thing. When you have reached the place that they help you reach, and you are sitting on your power table.
Your belly go sway.
Madam, we are not going to take your file.
Yeah.
Q. I want to eat, oh, you people should go. You know those kind of attitude. Or you now use Agidi, you go and spark English and submit your file by force. They put it under the table. Yeah. At the time when they are ready. So even we come into ministries, we have to know somebody to fasten our petitions, appeal, whatever we are writing, contract applications, all of that. So there's this Nigerian culture, Nigerianness,
of corruption,
and the way it is being worsened by the examples we show the children.
So I like what you said now, but there are causes for different things. If the children wake up early in the morning and get ready for school, and the school bus takes them late, there's a cause for that. They see that they wake up early. It's not like school is starting 7:30. You people are just waking up 8 o'clock. You wake up 5:30, you get ready. That is already engraved in their system. Whatever now happens on the road is a different thing, because as early as we come, sometimes traffic holds us. That does not mean that you're now reprogramming yourself.
You know, what would work? I just want to quickly explain on that thing. What would work for the child to complete that learning is that when the child gets to school at 9, the teacher, who knows that it's the school bus that made the child get to school late, does something about that morning class to afternoon class that the child must have missed. Or maybe the first subject.
They do that.
No, they don't. They don't. Oh.
Some schools, but let me take this.
They will be telling me child is late. Me, child, I woke my child at 6 o'clock. No. The child was ready at 6 a.m. You are telling me the child was late and the child missed those classes and they affect the exam.
The school,
you now call the mother nag.
Wait,
she's
now, the school that I know.
Talking from personal experience.
Generally, the school that I know, when it's school bus that brings them late, they know that this one's our boss. There's definitely something wrong with the bus for bringing them late. They don't carry it out on the children. But when parents bring the children late, that's where they question, which of course, but let's take this call, we'll come back to you. Let's take Ayo from Akute. Good morning, Ayo.
Good morning, how are you?
Good morning.
Doing amazing, sir.
Please, the topic we are discussing this morning is a very interesting one. And I want to let you know that Nigeria is what it is today because of the way ministries, departments, and agencies of government work.
We left that. So, Miriam, finish.
Yes, I was just going to say that even your explanation where you're saying that the school, if you come by school bus, they understand and they'll let you go. You're still teaching, you're still misdirecting the children. Because a parent would realize, okay, I get caught in traffic, so we even wake up earlier. But the school bus is not going to come and pick you earlier because they know that there's this traffic that they meet. So your child is invariably learning. If you have the right connection, you can get away with anything, as far as I'm concerned. That's what he's teaching. In my house, when I was growing up, I think heaven has to fall down before you can go to school. Exactly. But now I have my child say, oh, I have a tummy ache, I have a headache. And then my husband and I will actually be arguing whether they should go to school.
Or not.
When I was growing up, you go to school, they will give you something in the school. If you say it even jokingly to my mom, I don't want to go to school, she will look at you, what? For us,
we fall.
Like as a child, you wake up and then you go to school. That is your life. If you don't do that, you have failed. You know. Yeah. So even in the school bus traffic thing, as a parent, it would mean we left home at 7 yesterday. It means we have to leave home at 6:30. School bus is not going to do that. So what are we teaching?
I don't know. The school bus that comes.
No, it's not.
I know.
It's not even directly about this. Is that so that all of us we start thinking about the consequences of some of the things that we're doing.
So
it's reflecting how our children behave, how we behave, what expectations we have from our government too.
I know. But we must also put into consideration other causative factors. We're not in isolation here, right? The thing is to do the best that you can do. Wake your children at the right time that you're supposed to wake them. Let them understand being able to arrive early. It's not every day they go to school late, even if the school bus meets traffic. We know the cause of traffic in Nigeria. We cannot excuse that. In Lagos, exactly. But you need to do what you have to do first of all, and leave the external factors. The children will find their way. But you mentioned something else that I'm a bit worried about. You said they've been having underlying issues in the ministry. Probably that's was one of the reasons they now decided to, okay, maybe this is the one that is the last straw that is breaking the camel's back. No matter how our parents misbehave, we're not rude to them. We don't lock them out. So do you think that even though the ministry or the minister has been getting consultants from outside and they are aggrieved about it, or maybe some things are not going well the way they want, does that give them the justification to do what they did?
Okay, so clearly they are insubordinate, they are lazy, some of them might be incompetent, but we know politics. The governor, the minister is a former governor. He will have his own entire team he has trusted that he will want to go with. I remember when I was a child, one of my neighbors then was with Now Merchant Bank, and his Oga was promoted to the CBN. Back then, the guy just moved to the CBN, and we're saying, did you apply for it? So no, I was taken with my Oga. His Oga was made one of the deputy governors of the CBN. Back then, I was a child. And that was how we never saw my neighbor again. They lived in Abuja for years. So he went with his Oga. So imagine the minister coming in with his right-hand man, his left-hand man, and all of those man. They are coming to the ministry. Of course, they will offset the setting existing already. And usually the directors of the ministry, the senior staff of the ministry will be like, what is happening here? It will take a time to adjust. So there has to be diplomacy in leadership. And there's no leader that cannot be diplomatic. So they must have brought some things that we have seen in confrontation that unsettles the workers to say, what is happening here? Presently now in the FCT, we heard that 21 heads of different parastatals within the FCT were relieved by the minister. And no particular reason like some of these tenable reasons were given. Just, so that, they will set in new people and all of those things. It's not, we see that every time, every new administration. Somebody is coming in, you're coming in with your own team, you're saying the people already there don't work well. It is a civil service. They are working for their pension. They want to do a number of years of service so that they can qualify. You don't just come and offset things like that.
Okay.
You inculcate and,
Okay, we have a caller, Goke. Good morning, Goke.
Good morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, you're live.
Okay. I just want to shoot me something concerning the issue you are discussing. You ladies are trying. We really appreciate you.
Thank you, sir.
You see, what the civil service, servant did to the minister was very, very unruly. And I consider it an act of his subordination to the honorable minister. It's very wrong. You see, there is a civil service. You have to subordinate yourself to your superior officer. So you don't just, if you are locked out in such a manner, there is a way you do it that even after opening the gate, you apologize. You see, push forward your grievance through your superior officer. Then on the part of the honorable minister, if a new minister or a new boss is posted or brought to an establishment like that, the honorable minister should have, or such a boss should have organized a meeting between himself and the workers to discuss the issue. I mean, to give them his do's and don'ts, what he wants under his administration or what he doesn't want. He should have done that through a meeting and address them, giving them his what he wants. Like this time I want you to be resuming. I will not condone such type of attitude. What you have been doing before, business will no longer be as usual. You have done that through a meeting. But at the same time, the workers, because of the discipline, we are supposed to be disciplined. I'm also a civil servant in Lagos. So there is a way you subordinate yourself to your superior officer. It was.
Oh, that's a very fantastic
You
point.
could have also added the staff bus. Staff bus cannot be late. Staff bus have time.
So I was going back there. I was going to also say that, you talked about the various factors that affect everything. And that's why when you're coming to late to work, you call ahead, or if for some reason you can give a letter ahead of time, say, I may not be available at this time, There are different things that we do because we are considering these other factors. And then if you find yourself on that day, you're so late, they would have just reached out to HR. I'm sure different people were late for different reasons on the day.
Yes.
There may be somebody that has been always early, but that particular day was late.
Happened, yeah.
But what would be that person's saving grace is to be able to approach HR and say, this was the reason why I was late, you know. But also, I think we need to talk about this conversation that I think you also sort of touched on it a bit, which is sabotaging ministers, the civil servants and civil service.
Down on the second side.
So we hear this a lot. We say, oh, we had this commissioner who was great, fantastic. But to do that work, that person had to jump hurdles of civil servants to do the right thing. And those people just never seem to last because they did not pay dividends. They did not do it in such a way that they were massaging some people's egos. They did not take care of some people. The civil service has to understand that when Nigerians are coming together and be shouting at government not doing the work, really, just wipe the surface. The civil service is right underneath because of our issues. You have someone who has come, David Umahi has been described by many commentators when I hear they say a square peg in a square hole, a round hole, because he knows when he's talking to contractors, you can't bamboozle him. He understands all the terms. He knows the numbers. So this is a person that seems to be the right person for this ministry. But
see now,
he must go. We don't like him because he's pushing a certain. So civil service, look inwards. Do you really want the best for Nigeria or just for your own side?
It's a good question.
Okay.
And we know that any good change is usually resisted by the people who are benefiting from the
don't go far.
loopholes. The people.
What you said just reminded me of the the Federal House of Reps and their back and forth with the Federal Minister for Works on this Lagos-Ibadan road. And they sit down and they watch the news every time. I'm wondering, what are we fighting for? They summoned him at one point and said he too apologized. The Federal Minister for Works had to apologize to the House of Reps. They called him to come and answer something on an approval about the road, saying that, you know, he had overlooked the office. The people sometimes always flex this small power. Even ordinary gatesman, you see him in the office, want to see your guy, and you don't have an appointment.
You will hear it.
Maybe if you have an appointment,
he will let you know. So how do we begin to change the narrative? How do we begin to talk to ourselves? Because I know that this behavior that they carry out in private, because of the way the private sector is run, you dare not. You come late 2 times, you are going home. You dare not. So how do we, and unfortunately, the civil servants are more, especially in a country like Nigeria. How do we begin to change this narrative so that people will do their work as at when due and things will go smoothly? How do we converse? We have a lot of them around us, our mothers, our fathers, our how do we begin to tell them that we need to change so that Nigeria can move forward? Now whole Nigeria for our pockets.
This change that you speak is not so easy like that because change comes with a lot of discomfort. While you were speaking, Mariam, I remembered that, so my mom used to be an educator. So there was this tutor general from a different district in Lagos. By the time she was leaving that district, because she was very strict, upright, and very, very, you know, she was a no-nonsense kind of woman. They didn't do a send forth for her. These people went ahead to create e-flyers, and they were like, the violent woman is gone, the tormentor has gone, you know, and they kept on sharing these among themselves.
Let me pause you a bit. I'll come back to you. We have another caller, Alhaji Zubai from Alimosho. Good morning, Alhaji.
Yes, good morning, Vicky. Good morning. Good morning to the lady. And good morning. You are welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, now, you see, we need to appreciate somebody of this nature. That is the Minister of War. Man of seriousness, and it's a firm person. You see, so one of your callers, made a statement. He said, when Nigerians, see themselves, that is what we are suffering today. The way Nigerians behave is what we said for ourselves. You understand? You know, there's an analogy. You know, in Yoruba language, Ogata, it's common. Yes, it's common within the ministry. It's common. That is the analogy. That is the belief. You know, the Minister of Work is the chief executive of that ministry. He needs to be respected. Chief executive, you know. So, you see, I know most of them that they are politicians, whatever, they are trying to mess, so show ego with the minister, which is wrong. You understand? So we need to appreciate
somebody of this nature. You know, that is the minister of war. That is Umai. Look at the way he talked to the one contractor on the road. The road that somebody has collected 414 billion. You understand? And look at people suffering along the road. So, you see, Nigeria should behave in the attitude, you know, and encourage whoever that is good on his, on his office. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
So let's finish her thoughts.
And so by the time she got to the district where my mom was, my mom said, actually, people already had that preconceived mindset that this woman is, you know. Sweet. And after a while, my mom said, this woman is such a lovely person. Wow. She's a very principled person, yes. But you know how it is when people don't like going the right way to get things done. They are always still settled in the way that this is how we've been doing it. So nobody can just come and say, you know. So, and I think that when we speak about this change is not so easy to adjust to. And we must keep on driving that conversation. And so my question would be, how diplomatic should a leader be in driving home this conversation at all costs?
Extremely important. Yeah. But you know this Ogata, ASU is presently doing that with the federal government, asking for about how many months' pay? 20 months' pay they were at home.
Yes, for the strike.
When they were on strike. So if you lock them out, it does not reduce salary. So that there has to be other ways of addressing it. Exactly. So it's you that lock them out. That
will be losing.
They'll be talk about man powers and man hours at work. All those one is English. It's civil service. What other ways can you do this thing? That's where I have a problem with the minister and his approach. You know, you must put down your new rules, your time for resumption. The consequences to lateness or absence at work without reason must be such deterring weight that, you know, they themselves will come to work. And then some services used to do, even banks do this thing. They run a staff bus system. I know some staff bus that at 4 a.m. on my way to
so they are waiting
for an emergency, they were already driving. I was like, who this one won't carry?
Before.
Some 3:30, they're already moving around. True. So do things that, you know, would aid the services.
Put things in place.
Put things in place. Then when you're addressing and picking out one errant person, who the person head say had knock. You know, some people have even the crowd would support. You don't just come in. And Miriam said some people have been early at work, but that day they had one reason or the other. You didn't know which reason. So let me just say, maybe he was trying to call them to order. He probably would have opened after that day.
I want to believe he had done something. So, yeah, I want to believe that. But let's take a short break. When we come back, we'll bring in our celebrity guest and continue on this conversation. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we have a Nigerian music sensation who has seamlessly transitioned into the world of film with captivating performances in Nollywood, like Tunnel and For Colored Girls. Her musical prowess, showcased in chart-topping singles like Kolo and I Wish, has been equally matched by her talent on the silver screen, establishing her as a versatile artist, making waves in both the music and film industries. Welcome with us, Waje Aina Vivian Ebele-Robe, popularly known as Waje.
Finally! Waiting now! Finally! Calm down! Oh, God, this is my sister. I said you upstairs, I say, the dragging, I'll be dragged today. Please tamper justice with mercy.
You are welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here, finally.
We have looked for you, we have longed for you, we have harassed Wahumi to bring you. You know, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
So, before we go into what you're working on, there's this minister.
Yes, I had.
That lock people out and people locking back in. Simple. It's a simple conversation.
Yes.
So we've been talking about it. I'm sure you heard some of it.
Yes, I did.
Yeah. What do you have to say about what happened exactly?
Well, first of all, I'll say it's a bold move to lock him back in because it's very bold because somewhat he's the boss, right? And I think that, you know, just listening from the story, he had a good reason to lock them out. There are a lot of people looking for jobs, my sister. So if you have one and you have no respect for the position, then just simply vacate. Let another person who is really trying to feed their family don't justify bad behavior because that position or the ministry or whatever space gives you the opportunity to. Don't justify it. Do you understand? Let's call a spade and not a cooking utensil. Thank you, my sister. Because I know I feel bad when I have an appointment and I go there late. It just shows I'm not ready. And there are so many things that might cause it, right? I get it. But when it now becomes something that you do deliberately because you feel like there's nobody you're accountable to, and then the person who you're supposed to be accountable to now, decides that he's going to take action about it, and then you have the audacity to lock him out.
Say it.
My dear, sometimes not be our government, they do also.
Some people have said that, see, some of these organs, they're too overzealous. There is a proper protocol to address subordinates.
What is the protocol?
Us here.
What's the protocol? So I'm supposed to come to work before you, I might add, and then I will now, sweetly, appeal to you to come. First of all, this is a transition, right? Yes. You're even supposed to be there early to help me transition. Yes. We've seen everything that we've gone through as a nation in the last 1 year. And the truth about it is that sometimes change doesn't most times change doesn't even start from high up. Yes. Because the people that we want them to do right by us, they come from within us. Yes. So we are as guilty as they are.
If not more.
You get. So if that kind of thing, even if, let's say, for example, let's agree that, maybe he didn't do it the right way. Locking him in, is that the best way to address it? How about you guys just figure out, and I'm sure there are, different hierarchies in the office, and then figure out a way to deal with it without now causing, this type of embarrassment, and then, I don't know, but I beg people should not come for me. I'm just saying that if it were me, that's what I don't talk about before, so I no go fit, because I know as I did. Do you understand? I no go fit.
So we sadly have to deal with these people. Someone sent a message, Alaji, we call him Alaji. They sent a message saying, checking out their inputs to the job as they're asking for salary reviews right now should be paramount. One of those things is to measure productivity at work. Is one of the things the minister can also do. Shebi, you like to come at when you like and close at when you like. How about putting in a monitoring system and make sure that at the end of it all, there's a consequence for it.
Or pay people by hours.
Yeah, we talked about this sometime.
Give that hours.
Why?
First of all,
no, why?
Also, they talk for we need a minimum wage.
No, I understand though, because the way our system it doesn't allow hours because people are even underpaid. Yeah. Do you understand? Let's be honest. But in a situation where even you are not taking the job, my sister-in-law just moved to the UK, and trust me, she's now understanding that it's a different ball game because she's working in the health sector and she's paid by hours. They fight to get more hour. You don't hear not they can't work when they tell you to do.
But Nigeria, before we consider that our team, let's first of all even do well.
So I know we've really talked about how badly behaved these people showed themselves, right? But there's something I would like to also leave with the minister. So when we did a leadership training in Gotney in Abuja a few months back. There was is she a judge? She's a judge that he was giving a speech on how he was a public service, she was a public service worker as well, and how she was able to get, when she came into the ministry, how she was able to get the people to work with her. So there's what they call a buy-in. She came there, she saw how they were doing things. They had their own people that they liked. She was new. And if she had sat in her office, like I'm in charge here, they will frustrate her efforts. She will not be able to get results. So she had to call a meeting. She figured out the people who were strongest, the people who were most talented, the people who had other people's influence. And she got their buy-in. So this David Umahi minister is also an advice to Figure out the strong people in that.
We don't see them for the protest.
Yes, and get their buy-in. Tell them that this goal to make the ministry work, we are all going to do it together. It's for us. We are working. You know, there's a way they do that one in secret. You don't do the buy-in publicly. It's call them one after the other.
I think
and
he
get
did
them
badly with the apology. You don't say beg them.
I
said the humble minister.
No, but it's okay if they, like, if he had to do that, because at the end of the day, it's really about the whole goal of him working in that ministry in the first place. So, you know, at some point, especially because of the way our structure is, the way our country is, collaboration and partnership is the best thing that works for us. You can't really lord over people and expect the best results. Even in the private sector, you find out that one of the things that works for the private is that they sell you the vision and you carry it like it's your own. And somewhere I feel like that's what is lacking in civil service. You know, we have to get into that culture where we sell people the vision and they understand that, okay, I may not have been the one that started this company, but my purpose and this company's purpose aligns. So how do I bring value, you understand? And how does my value eventually pay me back?
What he has not done is training.
Sweetheart,
we go need to train them.
Let's not come to you. Leave our minister.
Thank you.
The Lord will be with him.
Let's come to Waje Ministries.
You have been singing. Your voice is so sonorous.
Thank you.
You were one of the people who inspired me to even make an attempt into this singing business, right?
Thank
and
you.
now you are venturing into the movies. Because what happened? Give us small gist.
Well, I feel like it's a great...
Before you do that, let's take a look at your video.
Okay.
Stay with us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everything I am today, the money, the power, respect I have, I did it by doing everything. I'm winning the Artist of the Year.
And the winner is... You wish!
In the history of Nigerian music industry, this is the first time a lady is winning the Artist of the Year. This stupid girl is trending on Twitter. Tito, if you are listening, congratulations, darling.
How can they say I slept with someone to get this award?
We're celebrities, we shouldn't be doing this.
I'm hot.
I want to be the only winning female artist in Nigeria. Trending forever. Yes, number one always.
We're trying our best.
Oh, you are the two witches. Where are they?
She wants to be talked about everywhere. That's what my sister lives for.
I know say she Chris, but my Chris person. I've been able to get Excite off the lineup. She will be the only female to perform.
I'm hot.
That low-budget Beyonce.
I don't change my level. God punish the devil. Egungun be careful. Don't look for my trouble. Cause I'm hot like hell.
I will cook a new song sent to Justin Bieber. And then I will become the talk of the world.
Woo! That looked really good. So give us the gist. Why did you decide to get into acting? And this role you played, how did you get the... I saw a lot of sassiness. How did you build yourself into this character?
That way.
Go ahead, girl.
I'm shy. So acting is one platform, or rather, it's an opportunity for me to be anything else but Waje. You get? So I embrace it sometimes because I'm, you know, creatives. We daydream. That's our life. We just like to live in the clouds. So when I'm taking on the character of someone else, that's the opportunity for me. I've played a wife before, and you know I'm single, and for that time I was shooting. I was like, I'm somebody's wife, like argue with your keypad. You know, so yeah, like that, it gives me the opportunity to do that. Now for this role, I play the character of Excite, who is a dancehall artist. And you know me, I'm more ballad, I'm quiet, I'm just really, anyway, where would they go? Where would they go, you know? But Excite is loud. I don't quite fancy her choices, you know, or her method of trying to stand up for the people that she loves. So, but it was interesting for me to play there, especially because I'm a musician and she is an artist as well. But I had to silence Waje to be able to play her. you know, so even with her hair color, I don't think I've ever worn green, ever. I even went and bought red hair after, you know, playing this movie, you know. So, yeah, it's an interesting place for me.
So that's what I was going to say. In what ways? Because we hear with actors, sometimes these characters follow you home.
Yes.
So what has influenced? You have more colored wigs
I have
now.
more colored wigs now. Yeah, and I'm open to, because I'll be very honest, I usually didn't dance on stage a lot because I'm not a small size, right? And when I was studying the character for this, I studied a lot of dancehall artists from Steph London to, there are quite a number of them that are, you know, of dancehall artists. And one thing about them is that they are full, you know, and their body doesn't stop their audacious nature, you know. Expression. So in my mind, I was like, why are you now restricting yourself? So now I'm willing to not restrict myself too much in my mind with societal constructs of how a woman should, if this is her style, or, you know, I'm just willing to try and see how much I can push myself. So Excite gave me that inspiration.
I like the fact that you're able to do that, because in doing that, you're encouraging a lot more other women to move out of their shells and be more than what the society labels them as.
Thank you.
So for this movie, what was the idea behind the production cast? Where were the major locations, the actors? Just give us a brief gist about the behind the scenes that we don't see.
Okay, so first, shout out to all my co-stars, actors, and the production crew. It was such a beautiful experience bonding with them. I remember the first day I went to say was with V, and that was the first time, I think, or second time I was meeting her. So we shot most of it on the island. Well, most of my part, because there were so many other people in the series that my paths didn't cross with them while we were shooting. So it was such a long time, a long shoot, because it's a series. So maybe another set of people are in a different set and I'm in a different set, you know. But in terms of the behind the scenes, I think that one thing that was fundamental for us was drawing energy from each other, especially for people like me who are not necessarily renowned in the acting industry, you know. Thank you. Chop not cool. You get, but, you know, just being amongst people who are not there to judge you if you're, why did you use Waje? She's a bit I beg, you know. But like, oh, Waje, beautiful. Shout out to my friend Tony Tones. She was actually my sidebar acting coach. Like sometimes I'll send her my script and she would tell me, okay, how about you figure it out like this? She's such an amazing, and she's so willing to teach people. And these are the things that we need to project in our industry. Everybody projects toxicity, rivalry, but the truth is there are people who are willing to support you, and that's what this show is about. She is really about the consequences you make and the decisions you make and the consequences, however great or not great.
You don't speak English, finish. Tell us, you know that we want to hear the real gist.
Apropos Progressive Union.
Thank you. We accept our title, not the film. You know, this movie, when I saw the promo, and then I saw the promo on, you know, Funke's page and the promo on JJC's page, now don't settle. Now not tell us now. What exactly happened in the production? Because he's also taking credit for directing the movie.
Well, to be honest, and I'm not saying it because I'm trying to, you know, sound, you know, or paint stuff. All I saw was great professionalism. Honestly, I remember the first day on set for me was at Amen Estates, and JJC was the one directing, and because she too was getting ready to go in front of the camera. And I think for some reason I wasn't quite, remember that Excite is not like me, so I wasn't quite, you know, there yet with my character. And she comes in and they have a conversation, and then she comes to me and she explains the, you know, the emotion I'm supposed to be, you know, projecting. And for me, that's how to work. It was professional. They were respectful to their cast and crew, understanding that they were the ones that gathered everyone there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Together.
Yeah, so that's really what I saw. I saw respect for each other and professionalism,
So what aspect of the film do you think will resonate more with the audience?
the stuff that happens in the entertainment industry. You know, we like
Why you all the gossip? That's why I'm watching.
Because there are so many spicy things that a lot of people will be able to relate to, might I add.
Was it telling someone's story, but...
I don't know. If the shoe fits, wear it. If the shoe fits, wear it. But
you did not even do disclaimer that all the names are fictional.
No, they are fictional.
No, you know the way they used to do that. It does not have any relation to...
No, she's telling us if the shoe fits.
Why they say shoe fits, make we
I'm not talking anything.
Okay, Waje.
Yes.
Have these powerful vocals. I love it. I
Thank
love
you
your
so
other
much.
album. If I sing the song, it won't be
Oh, thank you, sis. Thank you.
But I was so excited when I saw you on The Voice.
Yes.
As a judge.
Yeah.
What happened? Have you stopped The Voice as a show?
No. Okay.
Before you answer that, let's take another video of Waje.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the song.
Yes, when you asked you a question about your being on The Voice, yeah.
Yes.
So we've actually finished a season this year, early this year. So we're still. I don't know about next year, to be honest. I'm not quite sure yet, but I know that we just finished the season this year. And I've been a judge for 4 seasons since the inception of The Voice. So
How's your relationship?
let me give myself my flower.
Collect it. So let's talk about Prime Video.
Yes.
And their influence in the movie industry in Nigeria.
Yes.
Is that where your series is also going to be?
Absolutely. So it's coming out. Today's the 29th, right? So it should be out at the moment. And it's such a beautiful global platform, you know, that gives every Nigerian an opportunity to, you know, embrace culture because we are putting out our own content that represents us. Yes. You know, so I don't know, for you watching me, if you have not jackpot to Prime, you know, it's very easy. Just download the app. You know, it's small change. It's not so expensive like that.
It's not expensive.
It's not actually. You know, for the entertainment and the number of things that, and it's not just movies you get to see. You understand? There are documentary, reality shows, series, different things. So it's yeah.
You know, and can I take you back to the past? I want to drag one gist from the past.
Hey, what is gossip?
So I just want to ask you, don't worry, it's good. How is the music industry now treating you? There was a time you were frustrated. You were like, see, I'm done. So how is it today?
It's great. The truth is, you will always get to a point where you feel you deserve more, right? So don't be, I think for me at the time, I was afraid because I believed the usual of once for a woman, if you're not in your early 20s, early 30s, your career, you should be thinking of retirement. But then when you look at the people that inspired me into this business, like the Whitney Houstons and the, you know, they were there. Tina Turner, what age did Tina Turner finally, and she's still, you know, so I think I have come to a point where I'm bold enough to tell people, don't retire me. It's okay for me to take 2 years off and evolve and, you know, figure out what next, and it should be worth it, and come back. Don't retire me. The voice doesn't get old. The beauty is here to stay.
The beauty is here to stay. Toby.
My question is, how do you combine your roles? How do you merge them? And I ask that question because a few days ago, I posted a flyer that had you as a guest, singing in like a Christian event.
Yes.
And someone like, Waje too, they sing for church.
Yes.
And I've seen other videos also. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Singing and all that. So how do you combine that, and how do you push the narrative saying that, yes, I'm an artist, and yes, I'm still a Jesus baby.
And I'm excited on top.
So the truth is, you can't give what you don't have, right? What's your identity? When somebody meets you and they ask you, what's your name? You tell them your name because that's the identity that you have. They are trying to get to know you, and you want to, you know, sort of like you want to show them or express you to them. So you use a name, and sometimes people go, okay, where are you from, or that, right? So what's my identity? I'm a Christian and I carry light. So even if I was a lawyer, or I will practice my light regardless. And my light comes with excellence. It comes with, you know, improving in skill. It comes with being on time, being cordial to people, showing people, you know, humility, and carrying Christ as I know him to be, you know, and letting that project through me. Do I have to do gospel music? No. But am I going to sing songs that will make you go the other route? No.
So let's stay on that a bit. You have one of the most powerful, let me not overdo, the most powerful voices, vocals in the music industry.
In Africa,
so to speak.
Yes,
and I would love that you serenade us. Just give us something to go home with. It's Friday.
Well, okay, I wasn't expecting.
Oh, give us some.
Let me see.
But you need key.
I don't know. Okay, what do you guys want to hear? Let me see.
Anything. Please, for me, please. I would like to hear it directly.
Are you serious? Okay. You tell me, say you know my gift. It be like say you did there when God they give me this voice where I they take the sing. You open your mouth to tell me that I need to quit. You think say I start today. See the many blessings where they come my way. Send me an light to brag. But one thing sure, I know what I'm about.
See the dexterity of the voice. See the ups and downs.
The vibrato, everything.
Thank you.
Training younger ones.
Yes.
You know, we can't just come past the scene.
Absolutely.
Like
yes,
so
I agree. So the thing is, I have never thought that a record label is something that I want to do, you know, signing other artists, because I don't think I have the capacity. And when I say capacity, I don't mean money. You understand? I went through a bad experience with a record label, and I don't think it's fair that I replicate it with anyone else. But management is something that my heart is yes. And because I know that I'm so busy that I don't have that time, I do mentorship programs, right? I intend to eventually, I've started the skeleton of my school, of my music school. It's going to be online for now. So yeah, when the structure comes out, and then I'll collaborate with colleagues of mine to be mentors. You know, they can come and take students and all that. But I also have kids that are always with me that I kind of help.
Thank you. I'll bring my kids.
My God, you're such a lovely guest to have.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much. I enjoyed myself.
Thank you so much, ladies, for your wonderful contributions. And thank you. Hope the minister has heard us, and civil servants also has heard. Yeah, they've heard us. So that's all we can take on the show today. We'll see you again tomorrow. Do have a lovely weekend. Bye-bye now.